From Southern Maryland's weather leader, this is a JB Weather Alert.
Friday evening, and I'm forecaster John Bordash with you in the JB Weather Center, continuing to track this major winter storm that is poised to strike the Mid-Atlantic over the next 24 to 36 hours. Starting you off first with William Richmond Inc. TrueView radar, we can see several things already beginning to unfold that will set us up for a dangerous weekend. We have bitter cold air diving in from the north, where temperatures are already down below zero out towards Chicago and Minneapolis. That cold air will continue to dive to the south and east as we head into tonight, and setting up a very cold end of January. I don't think temperatures are getting back above freezing until we hit the month of February. At the same time, we're looking at an area of low pressure beginning to have snow, sleet, and freezing rain already break out down near Texas and Oklahoma. We're looking at significant icing potential down towards the Dallas Metroplex, getting on over towards Memphis as this cold air continues to dive down to the south. This will begin to impact our region, and the first impact will be that cold. Overnight tonight, we will look at northwest winds begin to pick up, gusting upwards of 20 to 25 miles per hour at times. And as those winds begin to gust with temperatures down into the teens, it will send wind chill values down below zero. Wind chills as you wake up tomorrow morning could be as low as -4 in Leonardtown, -9 in Manassas, -12 in Hagerstown, and potentially as low as -20 out towards Oakland, Maryland. That is why there's a cold weather advisory in effect from 8 p.m. tonight through 10 a.m. on Saturday. Frostbite and hypothermia could definitely become an issue for those people and animals left outside tonight. Attention is then going to turn to this winter storm potential as we head into a late Saturday and really focusing on Sunday. That area of low pressure down in the mid-south in Texas and Oklahoma will move to the east and bump up against the mountains. That bumping action will cause this storm to need to reform and develop a brand new low along the coast. As all that happens, we're going to look at precip overspread the area and leading to a nice mixed bag of tricks for our region of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Let's time it out a little bit for you with Cedar Point Federal Credit Union Future View. And what our in-house model is doing is overspreading snow throughout the region after about midnight or so Saturday night going into Sunday. I think anytime after about 10 or 11 o'clock on Saturday will be fair game, especially southwest of Washington, D.C. Snow will continue through the early morning hours of Sunday, becoming heavy at times for several locations. You'll see heavy snow where those darker blues will be showing up. But as we head past sunrise, our model is a little bit warmer now and wants to start to push some of that sleet and freezing rain mix into southern zones by about 7 a.m. As we put this back into motion, you'll see that snow, sleet, and freezing rain will be widespread with a bigger emphasis on that sleet and freezing rain aspect as we head towards the midday hours. If there's been any change in the forecast over the last 24 hours, it's not so much that snow totals are going down, but it's that icing potential is starting to increase across the region, and that's why we're putting a bigger emphasis on that moving forward. Our model continues to show that mix of sleet and freezing rain throughout the evening. By about 7:45 Sunday night, our model says that everyone is looking at that wintry mix. And at this point, southern zones such as Charles, St. Mary's, Cabot counties, back out towards Orange County and Virginia, Charlottesville, down through the Shenandoah Valley, they've been looking at this wintry mix for up over 12 hours, and that's why we're concerned about icing for southern zones. Our model continues this wintry mix throughout the evening, and overnight Sunday going into Monday, our model begins to break up this precipitation with clearing conditions as we head towards sunrise on Monday. Looking big picture at our region, a little bit of a new graphic here. Instead of just trying to show you a snow map and put all the information on a snow map, I figure let's try to show a couple different things because, again, it is snow, sleet, and freezing rain. We're going to look at more snow to the north and west, and the emphasis is going to be on sleet along the I-95 corridor with a bigger emphasis on freezing rain resulting in that ice glaze southeast of I-95. This is going to be a long-lasting event with significant impacts. We're going to be looking at impacts that linger throughout next week. My school outs already say that schools will likely be closed for the day on Monday across the Mid-Atlantic. It really isn't a question. And if we're being honest, it will probably be closed Tuesday with impacts lingering into Wednesday as well. There will be no melting of anything that falls over the weekend. Even if something were to melt with the solar radiation, it will freeze right back up, with temperatures throughout next week staying in the 20s for highs and staying in the single digits and teens for lows. The real wild card here is how much warm air will be lifted aloft, or how much warm air above our heads, because the atmosphere is a vertical stacking here. How much of that atmosphere is going to be looking at temperatures above 32 degrees? When it's sleet, it is just a small little sliver, and any snowflake that melts into a raindrop is able to refreeze into an ice pelt before it hits the surface. But freezing rain, that layer of cold air below 32 is right at the surface. That raindrop will never have the potential to refreeze and will fall as a raindrop, but will freeze on contact with any surface below freezing. Let's first take a look here at the snow forecast. This is the updated second call, and there really aren't many changes here. This is very much the same map from yesterday, with tweaks maybe on the edges. Still looking at 8 to 14 inches across western portions of Maryland, getting into south central Pennsylvania. That is where I'm thinking we're staying all to mainly snow. That blue zone, that's where the mix will be moving in after lunchtime, but you should be able to get in on 5 to 10 inches of snow. 4 to 8 inches southeast of DC, because everybody will be getting in on that initial thump of heavy snow after midnight through at least 6 a.m. Snow rates could be upwards of an inch an hour in some spots, potentially a little bit higher than that. You rip that out for a couple hours, we're going to be able to pile up snow upwards of 5, 6, 7, 8 inches pretty quickly before I switch over to ice. Lower totals down to the south and east. But snow isn't the only thing we're going to be watching. It is also that sleet potential. We're really going to be looking at that core of sleet, really focused along I-95, where snow will give way to warmer air aloft, switching that area over to wintry mix. But that warm pocket probably isn't going to be big enough, so it's going to be hours of sleet. Upwards of 1 to 3 inches of sleet will be possible across the core part of the viewing area, less as you head to the north as cold air holds on, and less along the coastline where that switch over to freezing rain will be much quicker. Sleet, again, are those ice pellets that will fall on top of the snow, help compact it down and create that icy layer. But that icy layer is different than an ice glaze. Those are little ice pellets. Think of sprinkles on top of a donut, where freezing rain, it's like glaze on top of a donut. We're going to look at that layer of ice be very thick southeast of I-95. Upwards of half an inch of ice will be possible across parts of Tidewater, Virginia, even into parts of southern Maryland, really looking at areas like Cobb Island, Mechanicsville, Port Tobacco, that region. I think many areas southeast of I-95 could see over a quarter inch of ice, which would definitionally meet the threshold of an ice storm. But this does not look to be as bad as the ice storms of the early 1990s. Those ice storms dropped upwards of 1 to 2 inches of freezing rain. Here we're looking at about a quarter inch. That's not to diminish this, though. Widespread power outages could be possible along with downed branches, and that's why we're in that prepare stage where we want to be making sure we have enough materials to last an extended power outage. If you're looking to be ready for an ice storm, you want to trim any branches around your home. Tomorrow, while cold, will be a good day to get that done. Having paperwork with you, having prescriptions with you. If you don't have power, you're not going to be able to print anything off, any important documents, and you want to keep those devices charged. You want to have battery packs, energy savers with you, so that you're able to use life-saving technology. But if we wrap this all together in a big picture, those highest impacts are going to be from Sunday morning lasting in through Sunday evening. That is when that heavy snow will be present, and it will begin to switch over to that period of sleet and freezing rain. Temperatures will only be in the 20s, so where it snows, you'll pile up the snow quick with a fluffy snow. But those temperatures in the 20s mean you will be looking at a lot of sleet and freezing rain for areas that are able to switch over. It will be important that you stay tuned to JB Weather for the latest information. Winter storm warnings are in effect across the region, starting as early as 10 p.m. Saturday evening, going through about 4 a.m. on Monday. I'll be right here in the Weather Center throughout the weekend, tracking every development with this storm and sharing information that I have to keep you and your family one step ahead of this massive winter storm. In the meantime, I'm forecaster John Bordash. Keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest information.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.